Okay, so dude, in the face off, did you watch his ceremonial weigh-ins?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's like,
I was scrolling down and reading the comments, and one like I always like it when you get a commenter that's like, "Oh, the translator didn't have time to translate everything. This is what they really said."
yeah, I
Did you
like
see
that too.
that comment for Pereira?
No, I didn't see like a specific thing. I saw something about Behar's last post-fight interview when he won the title, and it was like just a lot better speech than
Oh,
anything
really?
we heard from the translator.
Dude,
Yeah. It was just generally like
UFC fight.
whatever.
Dude, first
It
thing,
just sounded.
first thing about Pereira, or however you say his name, I love this little tidbit or whatever you want to call it. When Izzy won the title against Gastelum, when he came out in the fifth round, Izzy like mouthed to him and he's like, "I'm ready to die. Like I'm ready to die for this. You're gonna have to kill me for this." And then when in the fifth round, when Pereira won the title against Izzy, Pereira mouths, "I'm ready to kill." Dude, that's like such a fucking like difference in mentality, and it's just like
Yo, dude,
it's just crazy how Pereira actually
that's
like
amazing.
Izzy's like, "I'm ready to die," and Pereira's like, "Okay, well, I'm ready to kill
All
you."
right, well,
Like
fair enough.
that's just like Masvidal of like 2019 Masvidal shit.
Also, like the thing is, like he's wearing a dog collar or whatever, and he's like, "I'm ready to unleash the dog inside
Oh
me. I got
yeah.
the dog in me," and I feel like that's so funny because in every culture that's not Western, like dogs are just like a shitty creature that they use to insult people, and
No,
so
dude,
every
this
time
that's what I
someone brings
wanted to
something
talk
a dog,
about. So
it's like, yeah.
well, like
Well,
Izzy was
Pereira was
wearing the
literally
dog
like,
collar, so
"Oh,
he
we got
comes
this."
out, and Alex and the translator like translated what he said, but is badly. And this guy Eduardo Wood comments, translator missed that one. Alex actually said tomorrow when he gets unleashed, because I think Izzy's like, I'm a dog and I'm gonna get unleashed tomorrow,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
he said tomorrow when he gets unleashed, I'm gonna put him back on the dog collar. It's
Oh my
actually,
god,
dude,
yeah,
that's
it's
actually like a
like
sick line. That's like just it's like
it
poetic.
kind of reminds me weirdly, like Kamzat's first press conference when he like blew everyone out of the water,
Oh
and he
yeah,
was like
he's
picking
just
a
like
fight with
picking a fight with
literally everyone
everyone.
on stage. And Nico Price is like, "Yeah, man, I got that dog in me," and Kamzat's like, "Oh, you got that dog?
I'm
What
a
dog?
wolf brother.
I'm a wolf, brother. Why would you want to be a dog?" It's funny, yeah, because like in every other culture, it's like not even, it's just like shitty.
Oh, dude, the comments for the weigh-ins, dude, people are actually turning against Izzy. I like,
Oh, but they've been doing that for a while
I
now.
would say more than 50%. Like, I was gonna say half and half, but I honestly think more people are leaning towards Pereira in terms of just like the public support from the comments than they are to Izzy. At least like the ones that aren't replies. Dude, this comment is great though. Adesanya, give me something that will make me look fresh. Pet shop owner, say no more. Dude, and then people talking about Masvidal bringing out his kids.
That was so awkward too. I would
I
fucking
know
hate
that's
seeing
kind of
my
awkward.
kid just doing that.
That really seemed like an old guy move
Operating.
that's like about to retire.
Dude, he is. He's a fucking boomer, dude. Honestly, that's you were saying Kevin Holland looks kind of off. I felt like Masvidal looks super off to me. Masvidal just looks so out of it, and
But I
like
feel like he's looked
it looks like
off
he's
since the
contemplating his whole life and looking back a little bit.
I feel like he's looked off since when he was fighting Usman the second time. Like
Yeah,
he has that sense of like false confidence, right? Like he almost knows
yeah.
he's going to lose.
This feels that way. Yeah, it feels like he kind of just knows what's gonna happen.
That's what it feels to me. I don't think he's like looks crazy or anything. It's just like, oh shit. It just feels like he knows it's kind of slipping away from him, and almost like the harder he tries, the harder it's gonna be to get. But yeah, I mean, that's always the
It
worst
seems
part of a
almost
fighter's
like
career.
I'm calmly like looking at all this and taking it all in and looking at my career in retrospection and like it just seems like he's about to retire, just like an old man about to
Yeah,
call it kind of. I don't know, whatever. It just he's acting weird for sure. And yeah, like I think if he loses to Gilbert Burns, then it's like Fuck, man, that's what, 4 losses in a row.
Dude, also I'm looking at this. This one comment says the red jacket guy is me at every family function, and then people are saying it's Chuck Zito or Zito. Who's that? Chuck Zito. Oh, he's an
Oh, I
actor.
thought I wanted the weigh-in show or the pay-per-view weigh-in show.
What the fuck, dude?
Uh,
He looks so much like Bruce Buffer
Chuck Zito.
in this one picture.
Did you watch? Kind of. Did you watch Did you watch Israel Adesanya's interview on the weigh-in show, like the UFC weigh-in show?
I watched it a little bit where he was like giving really
Yeah,
terse
yeah,
answers.
yeah. That's what he's kind of been doing. It is once again it's such a big difference in energy because Pereira is just like having so much fun this week. He just feels like so. It's so weird because Pereira is always the one that seems so like stony, but he's really opened up this week. And
He's
Izzy's
opened up. Dude, honestly, like people say, like, oh, Pereira's a scary guy, and yeah, his demeanor and his size is really scary. But if you actually listen to what he's saying, he's like a
no,
pretty
he's awesome.
talkative
He's
guy.
like my favorite champ right now. This
Yeah,
week, I love him. This week like made him. This week, I think has literally made him my favorite champion at the moment. He just so like down to earth. I love his humor. Like I just don't think. I just am bored, frankly, of the humor in the UFC that's just like shitty trash talk and picking fights with everyone. And
yeah, I
then
know,
I'm also bored of just like
dude.
cringe humor.
And he's just such
Just like
like a quirky guy that's
inflammatory
not
statement.
he's not like trying to be quirky either. He's not like Izzy where he
Yeah.
wears his like anime loving on his sleeve. And he's like, "Oh,
I
I love
know. It
hentai. Look
just
at me."
seems so chill. It just seems so relaxed. Like this is me, whatever. I'm a fighter. I'm just like a random dude from
Dude,
some
and
shitty
it's
part
just
of the
like
world. Like,
he has the most wholesome person you can imagine
I
in his
know,
corner
yeah.
in Glover. And
He's always having fun with them. He's
yeah, and
always
it's just like
having fun.
the quirk. He doesn't I don't know, man. I like if he would lose, I wonder how his personality would change or anything like that. Because he
It just doesn't.
obviously
It doesn't
has he's
feel that way, right?
obviously
It
like
just feels
super
like
full of confidence in himself.
yeah.
Um which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just wondering like is that because he's winning? Because like he has a right to be confident.
Yeah,
Um
I think he has the right to be confident, and he, he just had such a stellar career, and he should be going in with confidence, and
right.
but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just enjoy lighthearted humor. Like even when he trashes Izzy, it feels like it's just kind of matching Izzy's energy and trying to diffuse it, trying to like
Dude,
diffuse.
did you see the whole Pikachu thing? The Pikachu
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. Just
controversy
just cheesing, He's just
where
funny.
he's like they flash to like a Pikachu doll on Izzy's video and he's like, "Oh." And then also like apparently Pereira put out a video like criticizing Izzy's reaction to a fight. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah. He did,
he's like,
but
"Oh,
all he did is
I
like
was
make
expecting him
facial expressions at the
He's like,
camera.
yeah, he's like, I was expecting him to go like, oh, he's just like, he just sat there. It's just like, it's like the funniest things to pick at someone for. And then he fucking criticizes the Pikachu, gets Izzy to comment on it, like, oh, what do you have against my Pikachu? Why does my Pikachu trigger you so much? And then he like trolls him, he like double trolls him by wearing a fucking jacket with like
Pikachu
a
jacket,
bigger
yeah.
than life size Pikachu on the back. It's like, dude, you just can't beat him. But I mean,
And he's like, "No, this jacket's mine."
yeah, Izzy would like that jacket. No, this jacket's
Then there's
mine.
another video where it was like some character. Like he keeps getting memed with this character too. It's some like thin, tall black woman in a movie, and
Really? Oh no.
and Izzy keeps getting trolled for it because like everyone's like, "Oh, look at this Izzy look like," and then the video is just Alex Pereira and like some people from his family, presumably, watching the movie on the couch. And then when that woman comes on, he just looks at the camera and just like this little like eyebrow raise. That's the whole video, and it's
Oh my
amazing.
god, dude, I need to see
He just
that.
has such an
That sounds
expressive face
hilarious.
too. I love him.
Dude,
I
yeah.
love it.
I saw he has this video on his YouTube channel where he goes to like um one of like the native reservations
Yeah.
in the Amazon, and he like paints himself up like a leopard or something like that. Like kind of sick, just walking around with the UFC belt and like tribal
Yeah.
like full body paint. Dude,
Man.
okay. Did you okay, so did you I can't remember. Did you see the ceremonial weigh-ins or not?
Yeah, I saw like I didn't see all of it. I just saw like the highlights. Like those
So you
cut
saw
videos.
Izzy kind of like dress up like tribal Nigerian.
Yeah, I had the weird thing in his hand, but then he had the dog collar on as well.
Dude,
Like a
like
mix.
did, did he do that because
Dude, I
Pereira
know
was
he's
tribal?
copying the shtick, and then he like gives part of his interview to Joe Rogan in Nigerian, presumably.
Yeah.
And
Which
I was
that
like,
was
hey,
like pretty cool.
well, I know,
But
but just copying it's just like Pereira's already done that, man. Come on, he's never done
come
it
on,
before.
dude.
It would be one thing if he did it before and he like wears it. He like wears
Yeah,
his
he's never
Nigerian
like
stuff
worn
and this
Nigerian
stuff.
stuff before.
Yeah, I know, but just like this time after Pereira's already done it, it didn't feel very convincing.
Is kind of like, are you doing that just because Pereira's doing like honoring his ancestry?
Oh, dude, tell me about this. You know how Izzy was like, oh, I came up from the rough life in Nigeria and I like traveled to New Zealand or whatever. Like he was making his story seem kind of, like a story of hardship.
Wait, when did
But
he
then
say that?
everyone, yeah, and like the media day interview and stuff, he's like,
Oh,
oh
okay.
yeah.
I didn't watch all of his interview.
But then yeah, everyone online was like, apparently he's from a really wealthy family, basically.
No, yeah,
Like
he's
even
rich. Like he could have. Well, his family was rich, and now he's rich, obviously. But like,
yeah.
could have done. He could have done whatever he wanted, but like, move to New Zealand. You have to be rich to do that, and then
I don't know. I fucking hate when people make it seem like people literally lie about like the hardships they've overcome. Like what the fuck,
well, his
man?
hardship that
Like,
he overcame was he was like bullied in school for being black. It's like
sure, sure.
welcome to America. No, but like
Like
yeah, that's
culture.
bad, but you're still wealthy, so I don't know,
I mean,
dude. It's just like
literally had like
Pereira is the
millions for
protagonist.
him.
Like if this was a movie, Pereira's the protagonist, right?
Pereira is definitely the protagonist. I know. Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Dude,
Pereira is
like
definitely the protagonist of this
honestly,
movie.
let's fucking think about his story. Drops out of school at like the age of 12, gets addicted to alcohol while working at a mechanic shop before he's even a teenager. Like when he's like 13, he's an alcoholic. And he
I
turns
know.
his life around, becomes honestly one of the best kickboxers in the world, like the only two-time
Yeah.
division or the
He's like
only
one of the glory
two
goats.
division champ. Um, beats Izzy. Looks is like, okay, what else can I achieve in kickboxing? Looks sees Izzy, the guy that he's knocked out twice, achieving all of these like riches and fame in
Yeah.
MMA. Is like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Starts getting into MMA, fights a few more kickboxing fights, fully commits to MMA. Like 2.5 years later, he's the champ and he beats that guy.
I know. It's such a sweet
It's
storyline, man.
crazy.
It's
While
crazy. It's really
simultaneously like
crazy.
honoring the places where he came from, the favelas and his ancestors.
Right. Apparently, because this week it came out, like there was some interview Izzy did and like some Australian news network that was talking about how, oh, like I don't care about Pereira anymore because like he's never gonna do what I do in MMA. He's gonna like be shitty in glory and not make any money. I'm gonna like achieve fame and riches in MMA.
Hmm.
And
Wait, was this
that's
current?
like no, it's from a while back, well before Izzy was even champ.
Oh, okay.
And then apparently that's kind of part of what motivated Pereira to move over to MMA
Dude,
because he
that's
was like, "You think
hilarious.
I'm not gonna do it? Fuck you."
It's just crazy. It's like, oh yeah, I beat that guy. I can do it again, and he just like
Dude,
does
my
it.
favorite meme is still the one where it's like, breaking news: Izzy retires and tries to pursue a career in golf. And then it's like Alex Pereira dresses up in full golf gear with his knee clubs, just
Dude, I
trailing
know.
Izzy around.
I know. I love those memes. And also, when when Izzy lost the belt and then he gets arrested and they're like Alex Pereira is the jail guard and Izzy's in in like jail. Like those, dude, that's a bad week for Izzy. Let's be like, he
It
goes,
was a rough
loses the
one.
belt, goes to Hot Ones in New York, and then gets arrested after being gifted like brass knuckles.
Yeah, that was a rough one for him.
Man,
Oh man, Tara. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think we talked about it already. I think he's gonna win pretty easily. Oh, dude. Also, what pisses me off is Izzy kept saying how like he doesn't want to make it about the trash talk. Like he's sick of the trash talk. Words don't fight or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Except like first of all, he loves trash talk, and second of all, then like 2 hours later, he tweets out like basically implying that Pereira is gonna use IVs to rehydrate.
Dude,
He's
what
like,
is wrong with that team?
I know. I don't know why they keep accusing everyone of the same thing too. Like they already did that shtick. Come on, man. You can't just do the same thing over and over.
Prove me wrong that he didn't use IVs.
And
Hold on, I want to
I
look this
prove a
up.
negative. He didn't do it, and I proved that he didn't do it.
Man, dude, okay.
He's like, "Oh, USADA, you better watch Behera. Like, take shifts and continue watching him after the weigh-ins. Like, from the moment he weighs in, you never know. Like all the dirty tricks they have up their sleeves and shit. It's like,
So I heard something
what do you
interesting
even?
today.
You're the one who said he don't want to trash talk.
Yeah, I know. He's gonna be like, well, that's not, dude. Is he like Israel Adesanya is smart, but he's not as smart as he thinks he is. Like, this is the guy who loves Jordan Peterson and Andrew
And Andrew
Tate.
Tate's.
He's just a
Fighters
fucking
love
another
those.
like dumbass redditor. Like,
It's so interesting to me that fighters like Andrew Tate so much because, like, he, I don't know, just like I would think that to a fighter, Andrew Tate's alpha shtick doesn't even work because he wasn't even that good of a fighter himself.
dude,
You
fighters
know?
aren't like. First of all, alphas aren't a real thing, and second of all, even if it was a
I
real
know,
thing,
but like,
fighters would not be alphas. Like little pussy ass bitches that need to listen to their pseudo daddy figure coaches to tell them everything to do.
Jesus. I'm just saying, no, like Andrew Tate's whole thing about how like I'm so powerful and strong and I can fight, and that makes me an alpha. Like I would think to another fighter, especially an MMA fighter, it's like, well, yeah, I can beat you up though, so whatever you, that wouldn't work. I would think it wouldn't work, is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
no. Dude, is that a real dog collar that Izzy's wearing?
I don't know, dude.
Okay, so he says, fine then, I'll just use an IV to rehydrate. What's the legal loophole limit again? And he just tweeted that outright, like, not in response to anything.
No, but then before that, he said something else too. He's
Oh, he
like,
must have
I
deleted the tweet.
I saw it on Reddit. He said something like,
Oh, he says you
oh,
saw to monitor us from the moment
yeah,
we
exactly.
get off the scale till we hit the arena on Saturday. Have people take shifts if they have to. No loopholes to jump here.
Like what? Like clearly he's implying IVs. Like I don't think we have to argue about that. But why?
Dude, what is he doing? He's like tweeting a picture of Kirby with testicles and he's like, I heard you like Pokemon. Catch D's at Alex Pereira. What are you trash talking or are you just trying to not
Dude,
trash
I gotta
talk?
get on Twitter. Holy shit, this sounds so stupid. I gotta
Dude,
get on Twitter just because of Paulo
oh my
Costa's
god,
tweets.
Izzy is a keyboard warrior. He's such dude. Oh my god, Izzy's actually a fucking bitch.
Dude,
He
I consider anyone whose mental health is tied to their Twitter following and like the comments on their Twitter page to be kind of a bitch, to be honest. Like, just tough. The people who really care about that shit, you
Izzy's
have
done this
severe
before
problems,
too,
man.
where he's like, I don't want to trash talk, but then he always ends up trash talking, and he gets like fucked in the trash talking, and then he's like, I don't want to trash talk.
The
He
only
does
one
that
he
all the
actually trash
time.
talked well was Marvin Vittori
He
because
needs to
Marvin Vittori
hold
doesn't do
frame,
shit like
man.
that.
It looks bad.
The only one who he did well, like he made Marvin Vittori almost like cry at the weigh-ins that or at the press conference. That was pretty good.
Dude,
Other than that,
the best conference or the best question of the or the best moment of that press conference was the like who's dressed better, you or Adesanya? And I don't even remember what Izzy was wearing, some kind of like weird open chested vest, and Marvin Vettori was in like a tux or something, and he's like, "How the fuck is that even a question?" And that became a soundbite. That was a great soundbite.
God, my rhetoric never changed. Because did Paulo Costa out trash talked him easily, just like 10-8'd him in every humor exchange in the
I
fucking
know.
build up.
Even Yoel
Whitaker,
Romero was more
Whitaker was like
entertaining.
just didn't engage with Izzy, which just pissed Izzy off and made him like a pissy little bitch because Whitaker wasn't like trash talking back and escalating it.
Yeah,
Pereira's out trash talked Izzy every time as well. It's
I
literally
know,
just
dude.
Marvin who Izzy's actually done well against in that game.
Yeah, holy shit, you're right. Um, I mean, John Jones, that little budding rivalry died out. John Jones left and
Yeah.
then just got another belt.
It just died out when Izzy moved up to light heavyweight and lost really badly. That was the
Yeah,
problem.
dude, when he's in a fucking God, he literally had a press conference where he could say all this shit to Pereira's face, and instead he just goes to Twitter and tweets it.
I know, dude. At least say it to the man's face in the fucking
Oh
news
wow.
press conference.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of being an Izzy hater right now, but he's just
this
I
is the
think he's a
time to
fucking
be.
amazing fighter. I really liked liked watching him fight. I just am not a fan. I'm
Dude,
a
I don't
fan, I
even
guess.
like watching him fight anymore. I kind of
Yeah, not anymore.
I kind of just think it's
That's a
boring.
well. You know what I think, dude? I think it's because a lot of people say like, okay, you're champ now. Don't take risks. Just win, etc., etc. Don't like you don't have to be exciting anymore. You just have to win. But I actually think Izzy's style after he became champ has made him a worse fighter. I literally think it's like
Dude, I
making the fights
definitely see what you're
closer.
saying.
Like before, when he actually used to take risks and throw more, he used to win by larger margins and actually beat
Right.
people up.
Yeah.
And now it's like he'll fight someone like Whitaker, who obviously is a tough opponent, but he takes so little risk that you can easily be justifying decisions for Whitaker. Like it's a
Yeah,
toss up.
for sure.
That's the problem. Like he
And
has
Whitaker
I think he
won.
has the ability to destroy Whitaker, but he needs to take the risks the same way he was doing before he got the title.
I mean, dude, in the rematch, Whitaker won rounds. He won 3 different rounds across different judges' scorecards. He just didn't win
Right.
enough of the rounds to actually get the decision. But like the basis is there.
Exactly.
And I kind of take back what I was saying about like Izzy's boring. He's a super high level fighter, but he needs other high level fighters to actually push him because
Right.
otherwise he's going to just be putting in these piss poor lazy performances no matter what he says.
I know he just likes to edge people out and get a decision. But
Yeah,
my problem is that's not good in a world where you don't know what these judges are doing. Like,
not to
I just
mention,
think if you have the ability to put a stamp on rounds, even if you're not finishing them, okay, I get it. You're a decision fighter. That's okay. But put your stamp on the round so that
right.
we know for sure who's
And
ahead.
the other thing that you're not thinking of is like forget about the judges. If you're not finishing your opponents or even hurting them and diminishing like their ability, there's always the chance that they can come back and like finish you
Exactly.
too.
You're leaving the door open for your opponent to steal rounds by landing a hard shot later on by not
Right.
hurting them yourself.
Yeah. I
Like
know,
that's the thing
dude.
people don't get. Like you need to put in the damage so you have the buffer and you know you'll win no matter what happens later on.
And that's like the
That's
difference
part of why I
between
think he's literally getting worse as a fighter because that margin is making fights like potentially slip away from him.
and that's the difference between dominant wrestling, like what GSP had, and dominant kickboxing, which is what Izzy has. Dominant
Right.
wrestling, not only are you putting your stamp on the rounds with like an exclamation point, but you're also tiring out your opponents. And that does lead to just like a diminishment of their game in the later rounds. So you're like putting work in. What does Izzy have? He tries to break people's legs down. That didn't work against Vittori. That didn't work against Cannonier. It's not
Didn't
going
work
to
against
work against
Whitaker.
these
It didn't have
tough
any effect
meathead
on
guys.
Whitaker.
Yeah, and it didn't work against Whitaker, who like, as far as I'm concerned, Izzy and Whitaker are on equal footing. Izzy just had like
I
a
think so.
slightly better I guess like slightly
Izzy
more
Izzy has a
convincing of the
good
judges.
cage demeanor, and Izzy has a really good. One of the reasons why Izzy's strategy works so well for him is his demeanor between rounds makes judges vote. Like, who are on the fence vote. I'm
Dude,
not
I
kidding.
hate that you're right about that.
He stands up. He doesn't sit down. Stands up tall, confident. Doesn't even like breathe through his mouth. Like just very calm breathing. And we've talked about this, dude. Judges, when they're confused, they vote on cardio. Okay.
And they're always confused.
And they're always confused. But I'm serious, dude. He has the demeanor, and he has the air about him. It's like, yeah, I just won this round. Time to rest up, and that
Yeah.
kind. I won this round. That
Dude, I feel like this.
coaches are
I feel
never
like there's
frantic.
two kinds of
Coaches are
judges.
always calm. Everyone's very calm in Izzy's. Like everyone's like we've under everything's under control in Izzy's corner.
I feel like there are
That,
two kinds of judges. There are the judges that are always confused and just go off of vibes, and then there are the judges that have made up their mind before the fight even starts who's going to win.
sure, yeah.
And then they just look for like any excuse for that.
Excuses.
Um okay, fuck. So I do want to talk about the futures of them, but just like talking a little bit more about Marvin Vittori, it is kind of funny that out of all the people that Vittori's fought, Izzy's hurt him the least. It's
I
like
know.
Whitaker almost finished him, Costa almost finished him, Dolidze almost finished him. Like all three of those guys had him wobbled. Like
Sure.
Izzy's just the one who like just tapped him and grabbed his ass at the fifth round, and that's the biggest pop he got from the crowd.
It's funny to me because people were criticizing Victoria so much for that fight, and
Yeah,
I think
people were memeing on him because he's
he was
like, I thought I
fighting to
won.
not lose. He was fighting to not lose badly instead of fighting to win. We've talked about that dynamic a lot. But I will say, like, it shouldn't like he did nullify Izzy's offense for pretty much 95% of that fight.
Right.
Nullified him. Like he just held him. He didn't get anything of his own going. That's why I'm saying he was
I mean,
fighting to just not get finished, pretty much.
did
But
yeah, did
that's what I'm
Vittori say
saying.
tell anyone after the Whitaker fight that he thought he won that? I don't think so. I think he was pretty accepting in that defeat.
I think what Vittori said was pretty insightful, which is like, I guess what Whitaker said, which is like, yeah, Izzy might be the champion, but I'm the most dangerous guy in the division.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, and it literally played out in the Vittori fight right after he said that because he beat up Vittori badly. It was a brutalization. Versus against Izzy, it was just like, I mean, he just won through stand up comedy. Like he didn't even fucking hurt him. Like it
I
was just
know. And dude, if you can't like win a trash talking game against Vittori, then who can you beat in trash talking? Um,
he beat Vittori pretty well. He just didn't beat anyone else.
okay, so that brings me just like to really quick touch on like the Pereira fight again or the rematch. Again, I think I made the point earlier. Like the one punch that seemed to hurt Pereira, like landed perfectly to knock off his equilibrium.
Yeah, got him right in the
So
ear.
like Izzy landed that punch multiple times after that, and he never hurt Pereira or was even close to hurting Pereira. So like I don't know. Obviously he hits hard, and that kind of brings me to my second point. I want to talk about like 205 and both Izzy and Pereira. So
Mhm.
I was listening to Morning Combat today, and Luke Thomas was talking about his interview with Izzy, and he was like, "Oh, I noticed you've been gaining weight. Is that in preparation for Pereira?" And this was before their first fight. And Izzy's like, "Yeah, every camp I've been trying to put on like a little bit more muscle. So when I eventually move up to 205, it will be like a natural thing and not putting on a ton of muscle, like all in a short span of time." So with that being said,
Mhm.
it seemed like Izzy's 34, probably still in his prime, probably in the close to the tail end of it. You can extend that by moving up in weight,
Right.
but when do you see that? When do you see that happening? What do you think would cause that to happen? And I guess how well do you think he would do at the higher weight class?
Well, about the first part of that, it's interesting. I kind of never thought of it this way, but it's kind of a weird game theory thing going on here because, like, I think Pereira also wants to move up.
Right.
So it's like whoever moves up first, it's kind of
Yeah. Gets like the claim for the
Izzy
belt.
wants to wait because if Pereira moves up, then Izzy can just fight for the vacant 185 title and
Hmm.
keep the belt for indefinitely, basically.
Well, it sounds to me
And
like he wouldn't be a simultaneous champ, or at least not a champ that goes up and down.
assuming Izzy loses, I feel like Izzy is very likely going to have to consider moving up, right? Because that's going to be now 2/4 losses to Pereira, right?
Bro, if Izzy. But dude, this is a fucking crazy thing. So I just want to make the point that remember when Izzy got into the UFC, John Jones was the champion at 205, and he was like
Yeah.
seeding a beef with John Jones so that he could
Yep.
eventually
Yep.
move up. So he's
Yep.
probably had that in his mind for a while that I'm going to end my career at 205. But
Yep.
Izzy is in a really tough spot right now because if he loses, or I'm just going to say this. I think Alex moves up after this fight no
I think
matter
so
the
too.
outcome.
But then
Unless it's
Izzy's not going to move up, right? Because then Izzy's going to be like, okay, I have a vacant belt here I can just take and win and
right.
keep indefinitely.
But I guess the one caveat I would say is if it's like an extremely close and entertaining and competitive fight, and they want to do another immediate rematch, like let's say Izzy wins by
I guess.
decision, there's a possibility they want to do a third fight immediately. But if Alex, so dude, this is what I see the most likely thing happening. Alex knocks out
Yeah.
Izzy. Izzy's
Yep.
like, I'm gonna take time off, bulk up, move to 205. I always wanted to end my career there. I'm gonna go there, like win the belt. Alex fucking vacates the middleweight belt before he has to fight Whitaker or anyone with wrestling, moves up and fights Jamal Hill, takes the belt from Jamal Hill. Izzy's now like in a place where he's like, oh, I can go to the middleweight belt and fight like Whitaker or someone, and then people are gonna say that I was scared of Alex because I
Right.
don't want to move to middleweight, or I can move to middleweight and fight
That's
Alex
the thing.
again.
That's why I'm saying it's like a weird game theory thing going on. Because like I think Izzy needs to wait as long as possible before telling the world what he wants to do. He
Yeah,
doesn't want to announce a move up to 205 until Pereira says something about where he's going to be after this fight.
and it's almost like, but like if Izzy loses and he's like, I'm gonna stay at middleweight, work my way back up to the belt,
Yeah.
Pereira's not gonna be there for him. So it almost behooves Pereira to go first, right? Because
Why?
if Pereira goes first, he makes it almost even harder for Izzy because Izzy's like
Yeah,
I
he does make it hard for
because
Izzy.
because then Izzy's best in terms of optics decision is I'm gonna move up and follow Pereira because I'm still not through with him. I'm gonna fight him at the higher weight class where we're gonna be
I
like a
feel
more
like I feel like well, but this is what I was kind of thinking. Like, I feel like the follower also looks kind of like I feel like if Izzy follows Pereira up, he's gonna look kind of like a sore loser. Maybe not. I feel like it would be acceptable. I think ideally, I disagree with a little bit on this thing. I think Izzy's ideal scenario is Pereira clarifies pretty quickly that he's going to move up to 205. Izzy stays at 185, and basically now he can just chalk up the two losses to like the guy was a natural light heavyweight, like whatever. Now I'm
yeah.
back to the top of the middleweight division.
The
I'm
thing
champion.
is, if Izzy loses to Pereira, I don't think they're gonna put and then Pereira vacates the division. I don't think they're gonna put him in a title fight.
I think they will. I think they will.
Are you
Well,
serious, dude?
but dude, like he's beaten everyone else.
Okay,
He's
you
beaten
put
everyone else.
Whitaker and Hamzat for the vacant title.
I would love to see that, but I'm just saying Izzy will have a strong claim to that, and the UFC loves Izzy, and he has a great following. And I just don't even think it would be egregious to do. I think it would be if Pereira vacates the title.
I
I
think
think
he
it would
needs
make
one
pretty
bounce
good
back
sense.
win. I mean, look at Zhang Weili. I think Zhang Weili is a perfect example. A
Mhm.
super, like, she's basically the best well known fighter in the division. UFC loves her. She
Yeah.
lost twice to Rose, got an immediate rematch, um, then fought, like, a very winnable fight for her in Joanna. But it was still, like, a respectable fight, right? Like, Joanna was
Mhm.
over the hill, like, but she still had a name. Who could we put Izzy against at middleweight that has that? There's no one.
Yeah, yeah. I
There's no one
agree. I
that's an
mean,
easy fight that has a name at middleweight. Chris Weidman.
no, yeah, that has. I mean, Paulo Costa has a pretty good name, and I think it's a pretty doable fight,
Paulo
pretty easy
Costa's
fight
coming
for
off the
him.
Rockhold win after losing to Vittori.
Yep. I think Paulo
Yeah.
Costa is a fine option. It's tough, but like middleweight's is a shitty division. I do predict they'll give Izzy a vacant title shot if Pereira moves up. Tell
Okay,
me this
so
though. This is a question I had though about this. If what happens if Izzy's the one who decides first and announces first, I'm going to move up to light heavyweight, and then Pereira was like, by the way, this weight cut's too hard for me. I'm going to move to light heavyweight. Does that look kind of like shitty on Pereira's side? Does that seem like
no,
Pereira's
dude,
just
come on. His entire like
letting go?
persona is chasing down Izzy and just like fighting him and killing him.
The memes would be
That'd be
glorious.
sick. Like he's just leaning into the memes at that point. And also, it'd be such a mind fuck because it's like Izzy's like, okay, I'm gonna leave this division that I had already cleaned out. I don't really care that I don't have the title anymore. I'm just going on to different things now. Like that's a way he could look at it. Moves up to
Right.
205. Is like, okay, I'm gonna fight. I don't have the belt anymore, so I'm gonna fight a contender, and then I'm gonna fight for the belt. Fights a contender, rematches Jan Blachowicz or someone, or like Anthony Smith. Wins that. Is going for the belt now. Pereira, in the meantime, had beaten Jamal Hill. Pereira's there waiting for him. It's like you're like, okay, I can't beat this guy. I'm gonna go on a side quest. That guy's there. You go on the side quest to or you take a different path to get away from like the roadblock. The roadblock had moved into your path. Like
So
that would
then
just
I think
be
you've determined that in all cases, it's better for Pereira to take his time and wait before announcing the
yeah, for
205
sure.
if he wants to do so.
Especially don't vacate the middleweight belt because as we all know, like UFC doesn't make you vacate if you're gonna move up. Just be like, no, I'm gonna be a simultaneous champ and defend both, and to just be like,
Yeah.
YOLO. I'm not going to
Yeah.
pull a
It's funny.
con.
I mean, I do think just that I don't know how he does the weight cut so smoothly. I mean, he's never missed weight. Um,
Yeah, I
he
know.
made 187 in Glory, and now he's making 185, which is like even lower. I don't know,
Fuck,
whatever.
dude.
He does it.
Yeah, I man, I okay. So if Pereira leaves the division, if Pereira leaves middleweight, I guess. Well, who do you think they do then? If Izzy's one of them, which I don't think he's going to be, but who do they do? Like, who do they even have at middleweight?
I mean, I do think it sounded like they were. I don't know what the UFC does. I feel like sometimes they just make offers to fighters without just to weigh out their own options, but they did offer Kamzat a title shot, apparently.
Damn, really?
Well, Kamzat said, "Oh, I was given a title shot. I was offered a title shot against Pereira, and Pereira was
Yeah,
also offered that." I just feel like, and there's been a lot of discussion online, like who's lying here, who didn't, who's ducking who. I think that's bullshit. I don't think any of these guys are ducking each other. I think the UFC just offers all the fighters fights just to weigh out their options. Like the UFC's making fights, they're like they don't know if these guys are even going to accept. So they offer these fights and get yeses just so they have all their options on the table,
yeah,
and then they go forward
yeah. That makes
because they
sense.
didn't know that Kamzat was even for sure going to middleweight. They didn't know Pereira would accept a fight against Kamzat. So you have to like offer these. That's what I think is happening. I don't want to see this ducking, and that guy ducking. Like I don't believe Kamzat's ducking Pereira. I don't even know why he would. It seems like a great matchup. I don't think Pereira's ducking
Yeah,
Kamzat either. Yeah.
man. I think Pereira needs to on like I know I say this a lot, but beat Izzy, move up, fight Jamal Hill, literally the perfect opponent for him
I know.
at light heavyweight. Beat Jamal Hill, be a simultaneous two-time or two-division champion in MMA after being that in kickboxing. Just fucking retire. Just retire at that point. unless Izzy beats a contender and is challenging you for the belt, and then you can beat Izzy at light heavyweight too, and then retire. That would be
Beautiful.
that would be insane. Because dude, think about it. He has he has the same claim to fame as Cejudo at that point. Like
Yes, yeah.
wins the middleweight belt, defends it, wins the light heavyweight belt, defends it, retires.
And was the two division champion in an alternate sport. Because you
Yeah,
know how Cejudo always makes it about like the best
right.
combat sport athlete, but
Dude,
Pereira
he'd be
also did also.
quadruple C, double champ in kickboxing, double champ in MMA. That would be fucking insane. That'd be like
It would be insane.
legendary.
It would be insane. The only thing, like, I do really want to see him against the grappler in MMA. We
I
have
know,
to
but
see
dude,
that
it's
before he
not
retires.
smart. Just get out.
I know it's not smart. That's the only problem with him moving up to light heavyweight. Because if he plans to actually stay there and defend, light heavyweight has a lot more dangerous grapplers.
Right.
Middleweight grappling kind of sucks.
Yeah, I know. Like that's what I was gonna say, right? Like Whitaker could probably take him down because Whitaker is really explosive, but Vittori, I think Vittori gets knocked out by him. Costa doesn't really have grappling.
But
Costa
even the
gets
guys that do have grappling at middleweight, they're so outsized by Pereira. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
there's no if
Jack
Izzy was a
Hermanson.
grappler, if Izzy was a devastating grappler, it'd be like, okay, I'm actually interested now because the frames kind of seem like they're gonna clash well. But like, it's hard for me to even
His
imagine
takedowns are so
Whitaker.
bad.
I know it's just hard for me to imagine someone like Whitaker though taking down a guy like Pereira just because of the size and frame difference. They stick even as framing off your elbows, framing off your shoulders. It's like it's gonna create so much space
Yeah.
for Pereira.
One funny thing about grappling is rewatching that fight. At the beginning of the fight, John Anik was like, in the fighter meetings, I asked Pereira, who do you think is going to be more likely to grapple? And Pereira said, I think I would have more success in taking Adesanya down, but I think he's more likely to try. And that is like literally the
Oh
case.
wow, he said that before the first fight.
Yeah, in the fighter meetings in the first fight.
That's really interesting.
Because like Izzy went 1 for 4 on takedowns, and let's be honest, that one takedown that he got was a failed judo trip by Pereira.
Yeah,
And Pereira went 1 for 1, so I mean
yeah.
it's true. But
It was that was also kind of an ugly,
dude,
ugly
his
takedown.
legit takedown, and Izzy tried to defend it. Is just like he actually, dude, think about it. He took Izzy down in Izzy's best takedown defense spot. When Izzy's back was up against the cage,
Yeah, he did.
he dips in for a single leg, like Glover Teixeira style. You can actually completely see the parallels between Glover Teixeira just like dipping down, scooping up a leg, and what Pereira did. Pereira just like turned the corner and then also turned it into a double afterwards. But like, sure, it was awkward, but it was pretty fundamentally sound. Just like turning the corner. Anyway, man, this fight. I'm just like so into this fight because I loved the last fight. I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, I mean we've talked about it before. I just hate when people are, dude. You know how Teddy Atlas is like fighting is 80% mental or something like that.
Dude, that would go suck. Yeah, sure. I mean, dude, he makes it seem like fighting is 100% mental. It's like in his eyes, it's like all you're
Yeah.
fucking doing is just
I think
you
that's so
know,
fucking stupid to be
it
honest.
is stupid, dude.
Because
He's actually like way too yeah, whatever. He cares way
he's
too much.
way too like pseudoscience,
I
witch
know. It's
doctory.
way too much.
Corey
Yeah.
Sandhagen said it the best. In his post-fight press conference, or I don't know, he said it in one of his interviews after like around the Cheeto fight. He said Cheeto Vera kept saying, "We're gonna see who wants it more. We're gonna see who wants it more." And he
Yeah.
said, at some point in your career, you're gonna come up against a guy who wants it just as much as you, and then it
Right.
comes down to skills. So if you're just focusing on like how much do I want it, how many times am I lifting weights, how far am I running every day, you're not actually
Right.
focusing on building your skills, and it's skills that win fights. Sure,
Yeah.
if you're two really low level guys and your cardio's bullshit and you just fucking suck at like defending yourself, then maybe there's some kind of like spirit and who's gonna quit before the other one quits in terms of cardio, or who can eat a punch better. But at
Right.
some point, like, all of those guys are gonna have been weeded out.
Yeah, yeah. And
The guys that are left are gonna be the same kind of mentality as you, winner mentality. All they've known is winning their entire career. They all have the mental coaches or whatever. Um, and it comes down to skills, and people like people people that talk about the mentality, where it's like, oh, how is Izzy's mental state going to be affected by this? I It just makes me
it just at this
question
level,
them
it just
as
doesn't seem like
analysts.
yeah. I agree. Like at this level, both these guys are gonna give everything they have to this fight. They're not like quitting prematurely. They're not like wanting to get out of just exhaustion and it just feels shitty.
Yeah.
They're comfortable going a hard 5 rounds, going through pain, going through exhaustion, getting through everything they need to hold on to the belt or claim the belt.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's not about who wants it more. Okay, at this point, it's not. It's about like yeah, and even just like the thing you're talking about and going on long runs and lifting weights and stuff. Like yeah, even being in shape like that can. I need you to talk about actual factors in the fight. Like the
Right.
cardio, the strength is fine if you want to talk about that. The skills are probably most important at this point. I think at this point we all like the cardio is proven on both sides very well. The strength of seeing how strong both those guys are. It's about the skills at this point. It's about the decisions they make in the fight. It's about the skills executing their plans and their reads. It's not about who wants it more. It's not about the mental side anymore.
Right. So
That's why
when
I
I
don't like. That's why I
hear,
don't like Kenny Atlas because it's always just like the mental. Oh, it's always just like whatever.
I
The
mean,
same
dude,
way once you get the belt,
it's
you're
not
30%.
just Teddy
What are you
Atlas though.
talking about, man?
Like Teddy Atlas, yeah, he does it a lot, but it's not just Teddy Atlas. It's everyone. It really is everyone, and they're like,
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talk about it too, but I feel like we mostly talk about it in relations to how what they say is going to affect their game plan.
Yeah, yeah.
If people are talking like Izzy kind of shocked me because he did an interview on RC and DC's show or whatever it is. I didn't watch all of it, but one of the things he was saying is like, I was dominating that fight. I was dominating every area of that fight. I was dominating the grappling, the clinch, the stand up.
He
And
wasn't dominating the clinch. Like,
if you watch his interviews post fight, like immediately post fight, he was saying, "Oh, Pereira had a good game plan. He invested in the leg kicks, and that's kind of what caused me to lose." Which, like, that is mostly true. He's leaving out a lot of other stuff that Pereira did.
yeah, but I like hearing that they're saying that because that's like we're in reality land right now. We're like,
Right.
okay, we're acknowledging the other person's game plan and its efficacy.
Yeah, but when he's saying that, I mean, the other thing is he's having cognitive dissonance because on one hand he's saying Pereira had a good game plan, but then on the other hand he's saying Pereira caught me with like one lucky punch, which isn't
Yes,
true.
he is doing that. Yeah.
Um, and then and then obviously the other thing is what I just brought up, where it's like I was dominating every portion of the fight. So I just wonder because I also heard interviews with his coaches where Eugene Behrman literally said, yeah, he was complaining about his leg, but it didn't look like it was compromised to the point of concern. Like, I wasn't concerned by it. Like,
Hmm.
really, you're not concerned by it. And now, like, 6 months later, we're hearing Izzy say, I was dominating every part of that fight. Like, I'm real. Unless they're just lying to us, I'm really curious about the mentality there.
I know. But it's also why I don't like reading into these interviews that much because Behrman, even like a lot of times people expect the coaches to have honest feedback and like a realistic view of the fight. But
Mm-hmm.
Behrman does a fair amount of promotion, I feel like, in the interviews, and he's not the type of coach who's going to like honestly assess the fight
Yeah,
and
true.
tell us what he thought. He's just not that type. I mean, I don't know what he means by like it didn't look that compromised. Yeah, sure, maybe Izzy wasn't limping, sure, but his movement was clearly compromised in
I
the
mean,
later rounds.
Eugene
Like he was
Behrman does
not moving
lie a
well.
lot in his interviews.
But he does do that a lot.
But
Like,
also, that team is kind of delusional because everyone on that team swears that Volkanovski beat Islam.
but even the IV thing for Islam, it's like everyone on the team was just like in line. Like, yeah, IV. They had a nurse or whatever. We have intel. Even Behrman said we got some intel about an IV. Like, what intel are you even talking about? Like, what? Show us the intel. Like,
Yeah.
you haven't shown anything you got. But so that's why I'm just like, okay,
But I
I don't
mean,
know,
those
man.
those
I
guys
don't
are
know.
so
I don't know
close.
what's going on internally. I hope for their own sake that this is just promotion and the coach is going along with your promotion. You know, I really hope this is not the team culture. I hope they don't have a team culture of like just kind of blindly following everyone's story and staying in line. You know?
Yeah. I mean, but they're like so close to the source that it would be understandable if they're like telling the truth and they just have a skewed perspective of the fight. But when I hear analysts say Izzy was winning 90% of the fight, he was up on the scorecards, thus he's like a better fighter. Um, it just makes me question some of their analysis. And also, when people are talking about, oh, I think Izzy wins, like Michael Chiesa was on Ariel Helwani's show, and he was like, oh, I just don't see Izzy losing a second time to this guy. Like,
Hmm.
what the? Are you work the desk on ESPN? This is your analysis? You don't see him losing a second time to the guy? I need actual reasons why you think he's gonna win, and I haven't heard any of that. People like um, Michael Bisping in the BT Sport breakdown show. What he said is when he was kind of like giving prescriptions on what changes the fighter should make. He just said, "Oh, Izzy, he just needs to like keep doing what he was doing. He was doing great." Like, dude, what him doing what he did got him knocked out. What are you actually talking about? He I don't know. That's like that kind of fucking blows my mind. Also,
Yeah, it
the
does. Yeah.
fact that
No, weird.
Pereira won the second round after getting badly rocked in the first round should make people take a step back and actually reflect, try to reflect just more upon the fight and maybe rewatch it just like a single time. Rewatch it a single time.
Yeah.
Like I think the fact that Pereira won the second round after almost getting knocked out in the first round is pretty indicative of his skill as a kickboxer. And I don't think Pereira needed that takedown at the end of the second to win the second round. I thought he was winning the round before he even got the takedown. Commentary was extremely biased in that fight. I went through and I listened to it a few more times. John Anik was honestly like comically biased to a point.
Really, Don Anik? I feel like he's the one who normally corrects the
No,
commentary a
like
bit.
Joe Rogan and DC were fairly like even keeled and level. DC especially. DC had DC's commentary in that fight was on point. He said multiple
Hmm.
times when no one else was saying it, like some mistakes Izzy was making, just saying how Pereira was making Izzy feel uncomfortable in the striking range when like Joe Rogan would fawn over everything. But it was really funny. John Anik was pretty biased. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Any other fights on this card that you're looking at?
Job. Uh, Let me look at the card. I mean, this Kelvin Gastelum. Kind of don't really care anymore though about that one.
I really wanted to see Chiesa, but
Yeah, me too. I was actually looking forward to that one. That was one of the prelims I cared about. Don't really care about Raul Rosas Jr. It's a second fight. We just don't know how good he is.
yeah, I don't know why he's being pushed so hard. Like, what's the end goal here? He's gonna be fighting an unranked guy on
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like
probably
one.
skipping the early prelim, to be honest.
He's gonna be
Fury
fighting
will
another unranked guy on the second fight of a pay-per-view next time. Like, he was the he
yeah.
was the featured prelim on his first fight. Now he's the opening fight on a prelim. Or they just like keep. I don't understand it. It's two unranked
The
guys.
UFC is just so weird. Dude, Dana is actually, I don't know who's fucking doing that. I'm not going to blame it all on Dana. But Dana is actually going off the rails. Because I realized, like, one thing I haven't brought up yet. Like, the following week, I think, one of the reporters asked him, like, was questioning the decision to give Colby the next title shot.
Mm-hmm.
The question came up, if if Usman had beat Leon Edwards, would Colby still be getting the next title shot? And Dana
Right.
was like, yes, yes.
Fucking
And
hell,
then
man.
he tried to be like, okay, well, I don't know, I guess for sure, but he was pretty adamant, like, yeah, I think Colby would get the next title shot because like he just keeps repeating the line, like, if it weren't for Usman, Colby would be champion. Which, how do we know if he's not fighting anyone else who's
That's
actually
crazy.
good?
That
Like, I think he's actually just going insane, dude. Holy shit.
dude, it really feels like it. It really feels like his just mental state is starting to slip. Like that press conference was so
So
bad.
so weird. Like, since when do you care about fighters who aren't fighting each other having beef?
And a reporter asked him about
When do you care?
WWE, and he's like, "Oh, don't. This isn't the time or place to ask me
This isn't
that.
the
Why
time for
not?
that.
Why isn't
But
it the time or
yeah,
place?
it's
It's
like
a
it's
fucking
literally
press
the press
conference, dumbass.
conference.
If what,
It's so weird. Like Kamzat literally set up a fight with every single guy on stage when he was, and like Cody versus Sean O'Malley, they're like basically getting physical and like walking towards each other, and
yeah,
that's all okay. But a reporter literally just asking Santiago, "Oh, do you think Kevin Holland's looking past you or whatever?" That's like
dude,
too close to
they
him.
fucking
Kevin
booked
Holland.
Paddy Pimblett and Ilya Taporia on the same card on purpose multiple times.
I know. Dude, it's crazy. I actually, it's just like, what is even happening? Like, I don't even understand what's happening anymore in the UFC. I literally just don't get what Dana was on for that last press conference. Any other stupid questions? Like, what? I don't think the questions were that stupid. Pretty much the same level of
Dude, they're the
stupidity as
same
every
level
other
of
fighting
questions.
press
In
conference.
fact, dude, the WWE one where it's like, "Oh, who would you hit with a steel chair?" That's the best
I
question that was
know.
asked.
Like all of these questions are stupid. And that's the thing. Like American media is so shitty. Once you go to foreign media, it's actually in-depth questions. Like I was listening to a Russian interview with Islam, and they were literally asking him, like, "Oh, when you had Volkanovski's back, why didn't you transition to Mount?" Like they're actually
God
asking him
damn it,
interesting
dude.
questions about the fight. Like Jesus, it's like the reporters actually trained a little bit so they understand what's going on and they can ask an interesting
Well,
question
dude,
for fight fans.
the point of a fucking press conference isn't to get detailed responses out of the fighters to learn more about them. The point is to just give them a prompt and then let
Yeah,
them
pretty
run
much.
with it and like hopefully have some funny moments or something happen.
Right. Yeah.
That's all that the reporters are trying to do. They're not actually like, "Oh, yeah, like how long do you see yourself fighting and like what do you think you're going to do for an investment? Do you have any advice for like up and coming fighters? Like how to start like a savings account?" Like that what do you mean? It's a fucking dumb question. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Dana White is going, dude, he's
Fucking
just
get
been
it, man. I
off.
fucking get it.
And dude, he's just like kind of just getting really annoying. Like his whole
It's
shtick
too
of
much.
him being like, "Oh man, this guy's badass," or like, "I don't give a fuck about things." Like his fucking Friday thing. It's just like, dude,
Oh
it's just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
sad. Just like be your
The
social
fucking
media
Friday thing is
personality.
really fucking weird. He's just become a social. Yeah, I think he spends so much time doing the social media stuff. It's like,
It's rotted his brain.
yeah, man. It's just he's gotten really cringy about it.
Just do your social media stuff and leave the hosting of press conferences. Um,
John Anik does a better job at hosting
I
press
mean,
conferences.
yeah, just like get someone else. Get Jake Paul. That'd be like funny. You could banter with the fighters and stuff.
I know, dude. Actually, I'm starting to respect What was it? One champion who signed up Jake Paul to
Oh,
be their like
PFL.
most
But what have
yeah.
they done with him? What have they done with him? He put out one promo for them.
Yeah,
What have,
I'm hoping it's actually interesting. Like it would be really interesting to do like a face-to-face interview with two fighters and Jake Paul is in the middle moderating. I would want,
that
I
would
would
be
love
funny.
that shit.
I mean, also, dude, UFC press conferences, too many fighters. I used to like the
They
really big
do, they
ones,
do. They
but
put too many fighters on.
why did they put the entire main card?
I
I
know.
like these guys are getting
It's
asked
weird
one
because
or
it'll be
zero
like
questions.
random beefs, and then Raul Rosas Jr. and his opponent will answer like 1 2 second like softball question, like "How do you feel before the fight?" And then they'll just move on from them.
Yeah, they
Like,
do not need to have the entire main card. Just put out Masvidal, Burns, and Izzy Pereira.
I don't know
That
what it is. Is it like maybe the conferences are too short and they don't have time to get like interesting moments? 'Cause I just feel like in 20 minutes, nothing happens besides just like
well, the fighters don't have
there's
time
just,
because there's
they don't
so
have
many
time.
different
That's what I'm
questions.
saying. There's so many fighters. Each fighter gets like one question off. Even the main event got like two questions only. Like
Right?
I can't.
Yeah,
Nothing's gonna happen in two questions.
yeah. I know it
That's
is.
why I
It
feel
is
like maybe we
annoying.
have to allow. I don't know, man.
I don't even like good
This
trash
I
talking
don't
out
know.
there. Oh,
It's lost magic, you know. The old Conor McGregor press conferences, Chael press conferences, that stuff was magic. That stuff I like. I love, man.
I know, dude. I mean, they're just so few and far between the people that can actually trash talk.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
Hamza will engage in it, and like he doesn't overstep. Yeah, he doesn't overstep his trash talking capabilities, unlike Colby. Oh man. Well, let's. Yeah. Anyway, like looking through the card, I really don't see any other great fights.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna skip a lot of the early
Give me
ones. I
your
think
prediction on Holland Ponzinibbio.
I got Holland, man. Fontenibio, I mean, but he hasn't shown that much wrestling. I think Kevin Holland's worked a lot on his wrestling anyway, and striking. I think Kevin Holland is faster, younger, more athletic, more
Yeah,
accurate,
that's fair.
looser.
Piper
Santiago.
Mearshart.
I'm vaguely interested in that fight, and probably that's probably the first fight I'm gonna watch. Probably be there around this time.
I think Piper
Ivor's
finishes
jacked,
Mearshart
bro.
in the first
Ivor's
round.
fucking jacked.
I think he TKOs him.
I don't. I haven't even seen him fight. Have we seen him fight yet?
Yeah, he fought like Alan
Oh
Mazadov or
yeah, we did
something.
see like his first fight. You're right.
Yeah,
That was
Alan
pretty good.
Amadovsky.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
dude,
Yeah.
Alan Amadovsky fucking sucks. Like he did nothing and they got punched in the face and fell on the ground. I think he's gonna hurt Mearshart because Mearshart can get hurt. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. I think Mearshart's gonna like either curl up in a ball or like try to grapple, and Piper's just gonna keep slamming shots until the ref stops it. Um, I mean, I don't see how Gerald Mearshart wins unless Piper completely gasses out, which I guess is a possibility. Gastelum Curtis.
I'm gonna choose Gerald Mearshart on that fight. Honestly, he's been looking kind of good, and I have no idea how what Piper's level is.
You have not seen him fight, have you? What was the last
What
fight you
Gerald
saw?
Mearshart? Yeah,
Yeah.
I have.
What was
What
the
was
last
last?
fight you saw?
I don't remember who he fought now. He fought that
Muradov?
one Mahmoud Muradov. Yeah, didn't he
Yeah, that
win?
wasn't his last fight. That's like two fights late. That's like two fights removed from his last fight. Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah, you're right.
lost to Christoph Jotko, or he
That's
fought
a fine loss.
he beat
Holy shit,
Muradov,
that's like
then he
three
beat
fights away
Dustin
from his last fight.
Stoltzfus when he looked complete shit against him. Then he lost to
He did.
Christoph Jotko by just getting jabbed and teeped in the body the entire time.
Yeah, that's fine. You can lose to Jotko. It's not.
And
It's,
then
it's
he
okay.
beat Bruno Silva, but
Isn't
Bruno
that good?
Silva
It's
looked
not.
like shit in that fight. Looked horrible. And so did Mearshart. Mearshart looked horrible too. He's actually been looking horrible, dude.
Well,
I
dude,
wouldn't
I'm
pick him
just
to
saying,
win.
I don't even fucking know who this why pipe. I honestly, Dana just pushes guys based on like how willing they are to. suck his dick. Like they're just willing. Like some guys always be like, "I'll take any fight, no matter what you pay me." They basically some guys are just. I think that's the only reason Dana pushes these guys because Joe Pyfer was probably just like, I will literally do anything you want and take zero pay for it. And Dana was like, great, I love you, and then he starts promoting him. That's the only reason. Like, it's the only fucking reason, dude. I
Okay,
don't even
this is an
understand the
example.
use
This
of
is a
this
quote of Joe
shit.
Pfeiffer after he just took Dana's dick out of his mouth. He gave me a home for a year. He gave me money on the side of contender. That
Yeah,
secured
yeah,
me
yeah.
having
He
a
said
place to
that.
live for the next year on the House of Dana. I think the guy gets shit on a lot for not being a good dude or whatever bullshit that people say sometimes. I don't know any of the other stories, but
Right.
as far
This
as
is
how he's
something
treated
people need
me,
to
he's treated me
understand.
gracefully.
I'm sure Dana gives a lot of money to charity. I'm sure he does a lot of GoFundMe's for fighters, gives them a lot
Does
of
he?
money.
Hold on.
Because there's another thing too. He like donated some money to some fighter whose daughter needed surgery or whatever. That's missing the point. Dana's part of an exploitative system that takes away agency and labor rights from fighters systematically and puts them in contracts that put them in a bad negotiating position, unable to pursue other options of employment. The entire system is rigged such that the managers who are supposed to be advocating for fighters advocate for the promotions themselves and bring them good deals and bring them shitty fighters who are willing to take fights for cheap. The system is
Right.
exploitative. Dana itself is not exploitative. The system is exploitative, and Dana tries to cover for it, which is why Dana gets so much hate.
Yeah.
It's not my job to prove how bad of a person Dana is. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's nice. Fighters seem to like him overall. He gives money to fighters. That's all great. It doesn't actually solve the problem, which is that fighters are being systematically exploited in this industry.
Yep.
It's like it's just not like a
It's
systematic
just
view
like
of what's happening.
classic labor rights problem.
Yeah. It's like I don't just because your boss is a nice guy doesn't make him someone who's like doesn't make, union busting okay. This is basically what the UFC does.
Yeah, dude, these early prelims suck. What can I say?
Yeah,
Early
whatever, man.
prelims
I mean,
suck. Prelims
what?
are pretty bad, except for like
Even the
Mearshart
prelims are bad. Yeah.
Piper. I guess Michelle Watterson versus Luana Pinheiro
Dude,
shouldn't be
fuck
bad.
Michelle Waterson's so painful to watch. I can't fucking
Dude,
do it,
she's
dude.
entertaining to watch. There's worse fighters. She's
They're
just not
worse than
effective
women's
with her
fighting, I'm
striking.
sure.
But at least she like
She's a
throws funny
striker,
kicks.
though. She's
No,
literally
but
a
she
striker.
throws kicks that are like cool looking, I guess. Like high kicks. Chris
She
Curtis,
doesn't.
Calvin
Does she even
Gastelum.
throw like
It's like the two squarest heads in the sport.
realistic dudes? I know. Yeah.
Can we allow headbutting just for this fight and only headbutting? The only way you can inflict damage on each other is
Just
through headbutting.
blockheads.
Yeah. Just like fucking blockhead Lego fucks. Dude, who
Whatever.
even wins this?
Main
This is
card's
like the
pretty good,
fight of the
honestly.
trash
Compared to
records.
most pay per views, the main card I'm happy with.
Who
Happy
even wins
enough.
this though? Who do you think?
What?
Curtis Gastelum.
Oh, I don't know. Gaston hasn't fought in so long. He's looked so shit lately. Holy fuck. He's only 31. Damn. Chris Curtis, I thought was younger.
Dude,
This
he's
is Gaston.
31. He's had like 15 fights in the UFC or something.
Chris Curtis is 35. Can you believe it?
I think
He's
Gastelum's gonna win. Holy
just
shit.
gotten wrecked so badly. He got wrecked so badly by Jared Cannonier too.
It was close. It's kind of close. He got wrecked though, you're right. Man, it has been a while.
He just didn't fight in 2022. Fought August of 2021. Whatever. I mean, it's been out for a bit, but Kelvin has seen a higher level of the sport, been around it longer. I always give a lot of weight to that. Maybe too much, frankly. Yeah, whatever. All right. Good
Dude, what
stuff.
the fuck? This is Calvin's 20th fight in the UFC?
Yeah, it's been around for a while because he was around for when Chael was coaching the Ultimate Fighter. He was on that season.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, all right, well, let's call it. and get on tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hyped. And yeah, you got to be hyped for the main event. The main card is solid.
The
Main
main
card's
event is
fun.
sweet. One of the best fights like they can put on. Yeah,
I know,
that
dude.
was great.
I mean, dude, we took so much. We just shit on Izzy so much, but he's gonna bring a good fight. He's gonna bring a good fight to Pereira. We have to be happy for that.
It's gonna be a good fight, but I just don't know if it's gonna be a winning fight. Like,
I know, but it's gonna be a competitive fight.
yeah, it's
No
gonna
one
be
else can
competitive
even
on the
bring a
feet. It's
competitive
gonna
fight
make
to
Alex
Pereira.
work for it.
Maybe
Okay,
Whitaker.
before we go though, Morning Combat said, I think it's either gonna be Izzy late or Pereira's gonna finish him even earlier this time. Do you agree with that?
The thing is, no, I don't, because like Izzy, because Pereira had the inevitability the last fight. That's a
Right.
problem with this logic. I mean, first of all, Izzy didn't even seem to have a cardio advantage, so I don't know why people are saying Izzy late. I think they're just doing the lazy thing where it's like whoever is smaller and has to cut less weights automatically have better cardio, which wasn't true
Yeah.
the last fight. It literally just wasn't true.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you take into account pacing, Pereira paced his energy beautifully, versus Izzy missed a bunch of spot shots round 4, and then that's when he lost, basically. I think the biggest reason he lost, especially, it was like just blowing all his gas tank in round 4, missing everything. Anyway, whatever. That's
He
besides the point.
lost by so many reasons.
So many reasons, yeah. But also just like the leg kicks were adding up, the body shots were adding up. I just think Alex had the inevitability.
Dude, he just
He
didn't
was putting
defend
money in the bank.
himself. He
He
defended
was
his
putting
head
money
and
in the
that's
bank.
it.
I know.
And then ultimately, like, if you're only defending your head and you let your legs and body go, uh,
You lose
um,
later rounds.
eventually you're not going to be able to defend your head.
Yeah, so why are you people saying is he late? Like late was when Izzy was losing the worst because all the money that Pereira had put in the bank in rounds 1, 2
Yeah.
were showing up. So whatever. I don't even think so. I think it's the other way around. I think Izzy's gonna knock him out. Um, and I think his power translated. Especially with smaller gloves. I think he's got a shot of a well placed punch knocking Pereira out. He did wobble him badly. I think if he did that a bit earlier and landed some finishing shots, he could have gotten a finish. Could have.
So you think, yeah, I mean, I guess like either guy can like
He could
knock each
have.
other
He
out
could
at
have.
any point.
I mean, if he lands that shot earlier in round 1, do you think Izzy could have finished Pereira round 1?
Well, yeah, I definitely think he could have. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion by any means, but
Yeah, I'm just saying if Izzy had the time. I mean, we do like Pereira did get saved by the bell round 1. I
well, I'm not saying he got saved by the bell round one. I think
But he
Pereira's
got
chin is
he did. He
ridiculous.
did get really badly wobbled right at the end of the round. Like
No, I
I'm
know,
not saying
but saved by
okay,
the
maybe he could
bell,
have gotten finished, but like he would have taken a lot more damage if it just happened even 10 seconds
right?
earlier.
I don't think he would have been finished, but I can see a scenario where like because of the damage that he took in round one, he doesn't win that fight.
Sure. I mean, I think if that shot landed 20 seconds, 30 seconds sooner, Izzy could have won. This is stupid counterfactual. I'm just saying, like, because you can always say this about anything, right? Like, if this punch was like an inch this side, then he would have, whatever.
I
Like,
know.
I'm just trying to say, Izzy has a path to a finish. I just think it comes early when his legs and body aren't fucked.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's just hard to say he has a path for a finish when they I don't know, man. When they struck for 25 or let's say struck for 20 minutes and yeah, hurt him once.
Hit him
I
once,
guess
yeah.
I guess it would have been more interesting to see like what Izzy would have been able to do when Pereira was hurt.
It would have been interesting. I'll like it because this is not a situation where Izzy just doesn't have the power to threaten a knockout. He
I
has the
was
threat of
actually thinking about this, and this is my theory. Hear me out on this. What is Izzy's most powerful punch? It's a pullback hook.
pullback hook thingy, where like the weird, really short hook counter thingy.
Right. It's a short hook counter when he draws his opponents in. He hit Whitaker with that beautiful punch when he caught Whitaker blitzing in. Caught Costa with it. Finished both of them with that left hook. He cannot. It's just almost physically impossible to hit Pereira with that. Not only does Pereira not blitz in blindly like what Whitaker did and what Costa did, he actually applies like really good pressure and diligent head movement and like a good guard defense. But he's also like fucking ridiculously tall. I don't think
Yeah.
Izzy can physically lean back and throw that left hook, especially when Pereira's most went to defense is just leaning his head back. Like I don't think that's gonna land. Izzy didn't have that option. He wasn't. I don't think he was relying on that option. But when people talk about Izzy's power and the way he finishes fights, that's a big part of it, and that's just removed for this fight. He did land that jab overhand or straight right or whatever you call it multiple times. It just never hurt Pereira. Pereira has been hurt before in fights. He's hurt by Izzy before in boxing. So I'm not saying Izzy doesn't have that power, but if we're talking about power, Izzy has to press forward to actually like land and finish things. The last time we saw a guy press forward against Pereira was Sean Strickland. How the fuck did that work out, dude? It's just
True.
like it's hard. It's hard to deal with him. Like I almost think Izzy's best path to victory is to point fight. And the only reason I'm not
Really.
100% confident in that is because of what you said, where it's like Alex is almost putting out so much stuff that Izzy it's overloading Izzy's like defensive soundness and his defensive awareness.
And yeah, like, I just think a lot of Izzy's defense comes from standing at a range where only he can touch you, and just punishing forward movement. But like that just doesn't work when you don't have the reach
It's just
advantage.
like it's almost like Izzy's offense isn't at a level required to punish Pereira. And I almost wonder if he sacrificed some of his offensive kickboxing that he had when he fought Pereira the second time in kickboxing because he's
Right.
been fighting such poor strikers in the UFC and most of the
This comes down to
wrestlers.
what I'm saying again. Like he settled into such a defensive style that it makes it so like it makes it so his opponents have openings to get back into any round by even landing one or two hard shots. Like he just doesn't have that buffer of offense, the points in the bank, so that
Right.
a good shot from his opponent or a good damaging blow from his opponent doesn't put them ahead. It's just like he does. I just really feel like he's making fights razor thin when they don't have to be. And
Right.
sometimes the offense you put out discourages the opponent from doing things offensively. Like sometimes the best offense in MMA is a good, the best defense in MMA is a good offense.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Cuz what do we always praise Izzy for? Forcing you to be proactive so he can react to you. And he does that with like leg kicks and jabs. But
Yeah,
if you take away the leg kicks and the jabs, which Pereira did, what is he
yeah.
left with? He's left
It was the same in the Yan fight. He took away Izzy's leg kicks. He took away like just jabs from range, and Izzy then couldn't draw out attacks.
yeah.
He
I
was
mean
even
that's the
saying in the
perfect
corner, "I need to
example.
draw them out. I need to draw." You can't draw them out when they have no reason to proactively come at you. When they're ahead, they don't need to come at you.
Right. I mean that's
You
the
have to
perfect
learn to
example
be
of what you
proactive.
were saying too, where Izzy's not willing to put enough of a gap between him and his opponent, and as a result,
Right.
he is liable to lose decisions. And yeah, the yawn fight was one of them. Like he didn't put enough in the bank, and then when he found himself taken down and put on his back in the fourth and fifth round, he's like, "Oh shit, I'm actually might be losing this, and I didn't do enough to actually win." Um, and like I guess Pereira's equivalent to a takedown would be landing the hook. Like
All right.
scorecards finishing him effectively, it's the same. You're just like not
We'll
doing
see.
work.
The
Man,
only
I mean,
hope
we can analyze this fight all day, which is
I
why
feel like
it's such a great
Izzy.
fight.
I will say, I feel like Izzy's kind of touched on that in the interviews. He's said like, I let Pereira breathe too much. I need to suffocate him. If he's gonna live by what he says, I think he's going to take more risks offensively, and that's going to give him a better chance.
I think, yeah. I mean, thinking about it, like I know I said if he presses forwards, he might get knocked out, but if he hangs back, he's probably going to get knocked out anyway. So pressing
Yeah,
forward
he's
might be his
hanging
best
back against the
option.
bigger guy.
It's just like he said the
Izzy
same fucking
hanging
thing
back
against
would be
Cannonier.
doing the equivalent of what Paulo Costa did against Izzy. You can't not pressure the bigger guy.
Right.
It fails
Yeah.
every time because then you're just the only one who can get hit.
I just think if Izzy comes out and he wants to pressure Pereira, Pereira's going to be more than happy to let Izzy pressure him. And he's just going to train his body and then fucking like throw a hook or whatever. Man, but just like also the last time Izzy said I want to hurt someone was against Cannonier. I just don't think Izzy has it in him to like fight like that anymore. I think he's been conditioned so hard to stay on the back foot to survive these wrestlers that he's just like mentally fucked now. And I know he said his like mental shit. I know he said mentality is a stupid thing to talk about, but
That's the mentality, just like the rhythm of fighting.
yeah, it's just how it's like
And
their pattern of fighting. Like
I don't know,
he
maybe it's a little hypocritical. I'm not sure, but I do just want to see him try to change the pattern of his fights.
I
Because
think he
at
needs
this
to.
rate,
I
I don't
think you're
even know if
right.
he's going to beat Whitaker a third time if he keeps fighting like this.
Yeah.
I don't. I think we need to acknowledge how close that Whitaker fight was, and how easily as Adesanya could have lost his
Man,
belt.
dude. And if imagine if Izzy tries to clinch with Whitaker, I don't think that's gonna go well for him.
But beating smaller guys with a lesser reach should be Izzy's bread and butter. He just needs to offensively
Dude,
like
if Izzy's trying to bulk
be.
up and like wrestle more, that's not gonna work against guys like Whitaker or like even Hamzat. That's what the
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
man.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
if Hamzat ever actually gets a shot at Izzy, I
That'd
mean,
be
I'll be
fun.
watching the fight closely. I think he has a great chance against Izzy and Pereira.
Man, middleweight
I just
needs
want
a
to see
shit.
him fight.
And
Fuck,
I
dude,
know we
where
said
is
like middleweight or I guess Pereira was the shakeup, but it really needs even more of a shakeup. We just there's so many guys that have fought everyone and lost to everyone. The only guys that are on win streaks is like Whitaker and Hamzat, who's not even in the division.
the problem with the shakeup thing? Yeah, maybe Pereira was a shakeup, sure, but like, okay, Pereira wins. Then we have Whitaker, Pereira. Whitaker is in the mix for beating Pereira, but then Whitaker just cleans out the division. Like Whitaker, the problem is we have like three guys. Okay, let's not even count Pereira because we don't know his matchup against grapplers. Whitaker and Adesanya both cleaned out the division.
Right.
That's the problem. You need
And it's not
the
even like
division.
between the two of them they cleaned out the division. Each of them has cleaned out the division separately.
It's crazy. Like,
Like
okay, even if Whitaker settles into to be the next champion, it's not. It's going to be the same problem. It's going to be the same problem.
we man, we just need Pereira to beat Izzy and then stay there, which is probably not gonna happen. But okay, fuck. We've been talking about this for a while, so let's hang it up.
Yeah,
Leave some stuff
sounds
to
good.
talk about tomorrow. Uh, you're thinking prelims? I might tune in because I think there was some.
Well, dude, tune in for the beer shard fight. Let's start watching there.
Well, yeah, that's on the prelims. No, I was gonna say I might tune in to the early prelims, like because if I
Oh, I
put
see.
bets down on some stuff,
Yeah, that's fair.
um, I think there's like actually a few good bets on early prelims.
You want to take a look at the odds real quick?
Shalin Yan Nerdembake versus Steve Garcia. I think that's a pretty good fight to not go the distance.
I don't know Shala. I know Steve Garcia.
Shalin Yan Nerdembake is the guy who fought Derek Minner, who caused the James Krause
Oh, really?
fiasco.
Interesting.
So Derek Minner came out, and that was when like the odds exploded on Nerdembeke in round one. And then Derek Minner came out, threw a body kick, winced like his foot was hurt or his knee, threw the exact same kick, winced again, started backing up to the cage, and then Nerdembeke just like advanced, punched him. Minner fell down, and then he just like punched him on the ground until the ref stopped it.
Well, dude, I thought the odds shifted for that fight before the fight. It was like last minute before the fight
Well,
happened.
yeah,
A
it
bunch of
was.
money came in on Minner or on his opponent. on Shaolin Yan.
What, dude? Under 2.5 is only -150. I think that's like actually great. Great props. I think
No.
Steve Garcia is gonna get knocked out. He fucked up Chase Hooper in their last fight. I don't know if you remember. And then
Yeah, yeah, I know. Steve
Ignacio
Garcia.
Bahamondes is pretty much a lock
Jesus.
over Trey
How is
Armstead.
Burns a minus? Burns being a minus 454 is kind of crazy to me.
Holy
I
shit, he's
actually,
-450.
yeah, I give Masvidal a much higher chance than that.
Yeah, I just don't think Burns' striking is that clean. And you like you said it, his takedowns, his like way to initiate the jujitsu just isn't there. Ooh, Adrian Yanez a -192. That's a lot.
Yeah, but I think Giannis is gonna win anyway, so you do a prop though.
Raul Rosas Jr. at -250. What's the main event? Alex at +108. Izzy at -138.
Yeah, he's still the favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I think people are expecting Dagestani. Adesanya.
Joe Pfeiffer's only a -200 over Mearshart. I honestly thought he'd be a bigger favorite than that.
Israel Adesanya. I mean, his name is Israel. It works well with the
Hmm?
Muslim.
What?
His name is Israel. It works well with the Muslim theme.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess there's not like great bets on here. But
I mean, I think kind of feel like Masvidal is a good bet.
Masvidal by knockout is pretty big. Because I feel like Burns by hold on. I kind of am curious about the props. Burns by
Masvidal by
decision
KO
is
is
plus money.
600.
I actually wait, dude, Burns by decision is pretty good.
You could do straight bet on Masvidal and then hedge with the Burns by decision.
Jorge Masvidal by KO is +600.
No, don't do that. 'Cause I think Masvidal might have a good chance of winning by decision.
Yeah. I
I feel like you do a straight bet on Masvidal and then hedge with Burns by decision.
I get do okay. The one problem with betting on Masvidal, the guy throws a lot of fucking kicks against grapplers.
I know. Why does he do that? Why the fuck does he do that? It's
I don't
weird.
know. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Burns doesn't have a way to take it to the ground. But if you're just going to offer him an entrance like that, just like open the door for him.
He does do that. I don't know why. Yeah, it
Like, I
is. It
can
is weird.
definitely see Masvidal like, oh, I'm going to like whip kicks to the body. And then Burns just catches one and like runs the pipe on it.
Right, right, right.
I can, man, I can see that in like the first round. Takes Masvidal down, holds him there for like 3-4 minutes. That would fuck. Well, okay, if you're gonna bet on Masvidal +316, like that juice is still pretty good. I wouldn't try to squeeze it out anymore by like, man, Masvidal by decision is +800 though. That's actually pretty fucking good. Dude, are we geniuses for saying Masvidal by decision?
Are we geniuses?
Yeah.
Potentially. Yeah. I mean, don't do a straight bet. Just do a straight bet on Masvidal.
Yeah, probably.
I'm like, kind of predicting Masvidal by decision, but I'm
Dude,
not gonna like do the
Masvidal
bet.
by decision. What if you do Masvidal by KO or decision? That'd be +600 for KO, +800 for decision, and then
Well,
like,
there's no or option, right?
well, yeah, there's no or, but you put it like two bets down, and then the units would cover each other if one hits.
But why wouldn't I just do Masvidal a straight bet on Masvidal then?
Well,
Isn't that just
wouldn't you win more money if one of those happened?
um? Yeah, you would. Because even in the worst case scenario, you put a dollar on both, you get you get plus $5 from the
Yeah, I guess you'd
right or
lose
no,
more
do
money.
you profit $6 or do you profit $5? You You profit $5, right?
No, you profit 6. If it's plus 600, they take your 1, but then they would give you 7 back. They give you your
Oh,
1
they give you
and the
7 back?
6.
Okay. So then you would is you go up 6 minus 1, so then yeah, that's better then.
But I guess if Masvidal loses, you'd lose $2 instead of 1.
That's true, but like that's kind of you normalize it. So like if you're only gonna bet $1 anyway, then you just do 50 cents on each. Oh
Yeah, but
wait,
then
no,
you wouldn't
then
win more.
but then you wouldn't win more, yeah. Then you wouldn't win more. You would win 3 minus 1, yeah. So yeah, you're right.
So
Basically, yeah. That's that you have to compare it that. So you wouldn't win more then. Yeah, you wouldn't win more. You
yeah,
can't compare betting $2 versus betting $1, right? That's kind of weird.
right. I wish there was an or section, but okay. Well, let's call it.
Winner and exact round.
Uh,
Uh,
all right, tomorrow evening. The early prelims start at 5. That's pretty late, actually. Yeah, this is gonna be a late card. Main card doesn't start till 9 my time.
yeah, it's pretty
Oh
good for
well.
me. 7 my time is pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be here tomorrow.